Two men have been arrested and charged for assaulting a Capitol police officer during the January riot at the Capitol. That officer, Brian Sicknick, later died from his injuries. NBC News national security correspondent Ken Dilanian joins us now. Ken, what do we know so far about these arrests?
Aaron, the FBI yesterday arrested Julian Cater of Pennsylvania and George Tanios of Morgantown, West Virginia, and they are expected to make their initial appearances in federal court today. And essentially, they were identified by tipsters who saw their photos in an FBI flyer, according to court papers. And then the FBI subsequently identified them in various videos, including surveillance video of the Capitol insurrection and also officer body cam video that shows Cater spraying what appears to be bear spray or some kind of chemical irritant into the faces of Officer Brian Sicknick and two other officers. And the officers were blinded, incapacitated. One officer suffered facial injuries that lasted for some time. Sicknick collapsed and later died in the hospital. And now his cause of death has not, or manner of death has not been determined. It has not been ruled officially that the bear spray or the chemical irritant caused his death. And so these men are charged with assault, not murder. But his manner of death was ruled a homicide. And so the investigation is continuing. These men were charged with conspiracy to injure a federal officer and various other counts that would land them in prison for up to 20 years, Aaron. And the FBI did a meticulous analysis of video, and they've now obtained a warrant to search the cars and homes and businesses of these men. This investigation continues, but this is a significant break in a case that has bedeviled the FBI for some time.
Ken, I know you've also been keeping an eye on the security posture and the fortification around the Capitol. What's the latest on the situation there?
Yeah, so it appears that the Capitol Police and other authorities are prepared to remove some of the fencing on the outer perimeter of the Capitol, because there's a sense that the idea of the Capitol as an armed camp with armed National Guard uniformed guard members patrolling the outskirts is just not tenable. This is the people's house, after all. This is a place where in normal times, families stroll the grounds. Reporters can walk into the building with just a press pass and ask anyone a question. Lawmakers are starting to chafe at this significant security, and they're starting to dial it back a little bit. However, they say that there are threats that remain, but they're really in more of the realm of the lone wolf threat. They're not expecting an onslaught of hundreds or thousands of people again, and so they don't need all this elaborate fencing and these many, many troops, Aaron.
Ken, I want to ask you a little bit more about the investigation that you've been following. Federal prosecutors are still asking whether that deadly riot was planned in advance or if it was something that happened spontaneously on the spot. What is the evidence pointing to so far?
Yeah, Aaron, this is an interesting and important point. There is lots of evidence of pre-planning that the federal government has laid out in their various court papers, that people plan to come to Washington, D.C. on January 6th and commit violence. But what they haven't seen is any direct evidence that they plan to assault the Capitol, to invade the Capitol. And the FBI said we had no intelligence that anyone was going to invade the Capitol. And it's an interesting point because it raises the question of, was this a spontaneous decision to move to the Capitol after Donald Trump gave a speech at the rally and said, let's all march to the Capitol? It appears that they just don't know the answer to that. But there is a kind of a logical issue here, which is they came there to stop what they thought was the steal of the election, the certification by Congress of the Electoral College count. Where was that taking place? It was taking place in the Capitol. So where did people think the violence was going to occur? And obviously the Capitol was not defended, and the investigation continues into whether there was planning to assault the Capitol, Aaron.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.